PR Connections Radio presents.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Evelyn's Roundtable. This podcast highlights a host of relevant topics. Our conversations share voices of women of color, Black women veterans and veterans, allies, candidates, and elected officials, entrepreneurs, teachers, students, and others. We also explore important issues and challenges such as grassroots leadership, job training, homelessness, and mental health advocacy, accountability, male inclusion, and civics. Our mission statement is to empower all women. Do you hear me? All women to hold hands as we rise. Well, hello. Oh, it's very nice. And to have you on here, and I just appreciate you being on here and taking the time out to be on here. And so could you please tell the audience a little bit about yourself and the things that you've been doing?
Okay, well, my name is Laura Perkins. I'm currently a regent for the university system, which is the Nevada System of Higher Education. We are the governing body for UNR, UNLV, Truckee Meadows Community College, Great Basin Community College, Western Nevada Community College, UNR, Nevada State College, and Desert Research Institute. So those are all the publicly funded institutions that are higher education and research. And we are like we've pushed out policy so that they can be effective and help students.
Wow.
Oh, my term. I've been doing this for about 6 years. My term is coming to an end on December 31st of this year. But thank you for having me.
I appreciate you being on here and regent, because it sounds like woo, right? And a lot of people don't. Well, I didn't. I'm just going to speak for myself. Didn't know that regent is the higher education and it's and the other side of it is the lower education, and I thought it was just all together, but I found out by meeting you some years ago, nope, that's not true. That's not true at all. And it's really important though to have a regent and because that's the next phase that we're talking about with where you go for education, right? So it doesn't end at 12th grade. And well, how do you, I'm going to throw this at, what about, how do you feel about the kids, I call them kids, that are doing credits for higher education? Do you think there should be something changed about that? Or do you think, because you really don't hear a lot about it, right? I mean, when my kids
enrollment,
I didn't hear about that they could have took college credits. I didn't hear about that. I'm like, oh,
well,
wow.
There's kind of two programs. There's the one that most of us know about, or the more established one is AP credits. Do you remember those from high school? Or basically, you're taking an AP class, which is advanced placement class. But then at the end of that class, you have to take a test in order to get the college credit. That's been going on for a while, but more recently, another addition is the dual enrollment. That's where you're taking college classes in high school. A lot of the high schoolers, they graduate before they get their diploma. So like if they've been taking the classes for 3 years at one of the community colleges, they will get their associate's degree before they get their high school diploma because of the classes that they were taking. We don't cover all the schools yet. When I say we, that process, that program is not in every high school yet. But that's one of the goals of Nevada System of Higher Education, is to provide all that for every high school. that wants it.
So then that does go back to what I was saying. I didn't hear about that with my kids going through, because maybe the school they
Well,
went to.
that's true. Because there wasn't as many sites available for students to go to take those credits.
Mm.
Yeah.
So then how do you feel about the challenges that women are facing with up the region side of education for women?
Well, women, actually, most of our students are women. The challenges, I just went to a program the other day from the Lindsay Institute. They do studies and research on a variety of topics, but this one happened to be on childcare and elder care, which most women are the primary caregivers for their children. And when you can't go to class, you can't you spend 8 hours at work and then you go to class for 2.5 hours twice a week. When who who has the childcare for that? That childcare is expensive. And so that was one of the problems about women. And at UNLV right now, they do have a early childhood program, but it's for students under 5. So if your child is under 5, they can come on the campus, and but their waiting list is a mile long because they can only take these students. And it's a good start, but we can do a lot better. And that's one of the problems that faces women specifically.
And I have to totally agree with you on that. Childcare is a big problem, period. Right. And being I'm in the trades, that's a real big problem. Too,
yes, it is.
Because you're right. At least I myself, again, thinking about 90% of women in this state are head of household and have to figure out where the kiddos got to go. And hear me, even raising the grandbabies, I got to think of the same thing. And I'm not even in school no more. But if I have to go to a meeting or something, right, I still got to figure it out too. And what's something else too is that so like the unions, they figured it out, like Palace stations. In those stations,
they don't do that program anymore. I found out last night that program was eliminated. Like Palace Station did a really good job, or the stations, casinos did a really good job of providing daycare while the parent was at work. But that program is no longer, and I don't know why. But yeah, that was an excellent program.
But Palace Station has a place for the kids, for a child. They got a childcare place.
They stopped it.
Wow.
That's what I heard last night. It's no longer going.
Wow. Because I was really giving them their props for them figuring that out.
It was a great idea. It is a great idea. And so because one of the problems that we face being a 24-hour town is that it's not a 9 to 5.
No.
You might be 9 p.m. to 5 a.m., but it's not like it's not banker's hours. So you might work from 3 p.m. to 11 p.m. And when are most of the child care places open? 9 to 5.
Yes.
Or 8 to 4.
Yes.
So what are you going to do?
And that was one of the things I pointed out too. And again, I'm gonna go back to construction, because sometimes you got to be in a job at 5 a.m, 5:30, so you can't do safe key, and
right.
That doesn't work still either, because you got to be. There's not a 9 to 5. It's a 6 to 2 or 5:30 to 1 or something like that. And
I'm in that same boat. I was in that same boat. I started off as a land survey tech. That was like my first job with the state, or second job with the state, but that was where I started. And I had to be on deck at 5 o'clock. So what was I going to do with my infant child? She was under a year old. So luckily, her dad worked like 11 or 3 to 11. So 3 p.m. to 11 p.m. So I was off by 3 o'clock. So basically we would drive past each other, throw the kid out. Don't know. We would just, swap out car seats or swap out cars, and he would go to work, but we would pass. I mean, literally, we would pass because he would bring her to me at work because I'd be pulling it back into the station around 2:30. So, and his job was in downtown North Las Vegas, so we pass each other, and it
See,
was a
yeah,
strain.
they need to really, and it's just a big barrier. Period.
It is.
No matter what.
Even for men, because there's more
Well,
men taking the primary care role, and and then when you figure the cost of, well, not in the trades though, because the trade pays fairly well, they pay a living wage, but in a lot of people that weren't so lucky to go into the trades, it's cheaper to stay home,
well,
right?
that's
I
the
mean,
other
it's
part.
cheaper for one parent to stay home, but who can survive on one person's salary unless you're
Nope.
making it like that?
Right. Right. And there are and you're right. You're correct. There is single males out here that need the same thing because they have to work, I'm just like, okay, so this is not just a women issue,
It
right?
really isn't.
All of our issues. So
And
okay,
oh,
that's
the
why
cool thing
okay,
about it, let me find that statistic. The cool thing about it is that we're losing money by people not being in the workforce. So
of course.
if you can't go to work, that means you're not buying that new car, you're not buying that new washer, you're penny pinching on the groceries. You're definitely not going on vacations.
No.
But when there's a big chunk of Nevada residents that we're losing out on money by not having affordable daycare. So it's like, how can we sit there and say that we want to improve our workforce development when if you just provided daycare, I don't want to quote it wrong, but you get, by every dollar you put into daycare, you get more money out of it because of because of the parents being able to work or primary caregivers being able to work. And I'm like, that's just like a no-brainer.
You would think because
You would
there's still only two 24-hour daycares. One over here on right there by Jones and Smoke Ranch, and I think there's
Okay, I
one
know
more.
that one.
Yeah, something Tots or something, and then there's another one
Yes.
over by Boulder Station, but that's only two. I'm like, really?
And the sad thing is, parents will choose availability over quality. So you could walk into the place and there could be roaches crawling on the floor or unsanitary conditions, but they will still put their kids there because what choice do they have?
Right. Because there is no choice. I mean,
No,
that's why we do what we do anyways, making choices on things we
pretty
shouldn't be
much
making
to
choices
give people choices. And you need, okay, here we go, full circle. You need an education to have those choices. I heard somebody say the other day, oh, well, you don't have to go to college. Okay, let's rethink that. It's not college. Do all of us need to be like, brain surgeon? No, but you can't pick up a wrench with a high school diploma. You can't work on a car with a high school diploma unless you went through the testing for mechanics. So everybody needs something past 12th grade. And that's what we need to start. Instead of saying college, say higher education, because K through 12 serves a purpose. And then 12 and above serves a purpose. So, I mean, can you come out of high school and go work on HVACs?
Well, actually, you can.
If you went to that class and went through all the
Well,
training.
yeah, you can actually come out of high school and get into trades. Yes, but you're still going to school in the trades.
Yes.
The trades, you're
Yes.
still going to school. You can earn a AA or AS. And I earned AS in pipe fitting when I went
Look
through
at
my
you.
apprenticeship. So I have an extra.
And that's higher ed.
Yeah,
That's higher ed.
and I earned that, and so in case I guess if I want to do anything else, I don't know. But I do think there is some classes in higher ed that you do. I mean, I got my associates in business, and it's helped me with my nonprofit that I have. Right, the business part of it has done that, but the other part, the trades, has helped me. And that's the verses here that we're talking about too, right? Higher
Yes.
ed, and but again, it's like you do need it. You do
Yes.
need some type of education, especially to move on, right? Into to have your own business. I do think you need some type of something with business in there to
Yeah.
help, unless you it's a family owned business, but I still think you still need
You
to
still
have
have to. You still,
something.
but you still have to learn something. I also heard that a lot of people don't know how to write a sentence, and so you need that. You need to learn how to read and write in a format that people can understand. And I know that was lacking also when a lot of the employers are saying, "Hey, we want people that can understand. We want people that can read, because if you could read, you could do anything, right? If you can read the instructions, you can figure out how to do anything." And he's there. Some of the employers were saying that they are finding that um, there's a disconnect between what the worker reads and what actually happens. So we'll see.
I in two, even with the ballots that they said, like, still what, over 4,000 ballots were not counted because of signatures, and then you had some that didn't even know how to sign. There's no
Well,
cursive anymore and all of that. I'm like, yeah, because my grandkids aren't doing cursive either, and I don't understand that, right? Like, you're
but what about my grandfather used an X because he wasn't an educated person. I mean, smart as a whip, but he had no. Um, he learned by the school of hard knocks, right? So, but he signed his name with an X,
wow.
and
That
so
is
I don't understand if they did that way back then. Why can't they do it now?
yes. And when I do the career fairs too for the youth, that's one of the things I really talk about, the importance of getting your education, and how important math is, and how important social science and English is um, at the time. And I don't see that even now with testing, because they do testing, with the younger kids. My grandbabies are doing testing, and then I asked them, I said, well, do you go in there and really concentrate, or you just go in there and whatever? And I found out that they just do whatever. And then I had to point out, and I even had to say something to the teachers, like, are you telling them how important it is that the map testing is for these kids? It shows this, it shows that. And they all kind of give me the look, right? And I'm like, well, telling them that they actually, because the kids will go in there and just really try to hurry up with
Yes.
taking what they're doing. And I'm like, no, you need to really concentrate on what you're doing with the mapping. You need to know what you're doing with the mapping. It's very important to pay attention when you're doing the testing and all of that. And so it's interesting that nobody's I I don't know of any teachers confirming that you need to really do this. So I thought that was interesting that
Um, you have to make it relevant to them because right now, I mean, everything's on my phone. I can talk to my phone and it can tell me everything I need to know. And so you need to make it relevant, which again, you know, you have to make it make sense. I mean, why would I learn my times tables when I could just ask my phone?
true, true, true. Yeah, and even out in the trades, they're letting them use the calculators for things too. For certain things, you can do that. And two, again, I want to jump a little bit on some other things as far
Okay,
as the community with supporting and bringing civics back.
please
Um,
do.
I
Please do.
I I don't know why it was dropped. Just like some of the other, home. What was that? Not homeschooling, but you did like
Oh, home ec,
home ec,
how
and
to wash some clothes.
yep, you do all
You know,
how to cook food, how to financial things. You had a home class that you would go to check in and all that, and I just think civics, because it's why
it's
are
what
you
makes the
not?
world go round. If you don't I was really disappointed about how little people cared about voting. Still
Yes,
in Southern Nevada, what it was 13%, I think this time. 13% of our population voted. I think that's what it was this time. Or last time I know it was 13%. But it's like, really? So only 13% of you care? How is that even possible? And I saw, yes, we need to bring back history. Why? Because if we don't know what we did and where we came from, we're going to repeat it again. And it's more, history is more than just facts and figures and dates. There are background things like, why did the Civil War happen? Why did World War II happen? What led up to the burning, the melting point where everything got blown out of the proportion and we went to war. You need to know why.
yes,
And
yeah, yes. I agree. And civics is, and everybody's like, oh, that's political. No, it's not.
it's not
It's like you
political.
said, it's history. It's nothing political about it. And then for all them ballots to be thrown out because you are organizing for those to be registered, and at one
Not
point we don't
educated.
need to register nobody no more because everybody's registered. That was already said, right? So I'm like,
Yes.
okay, since you're registering, are you telling them that their license, where they sign their driver's license, needs to match the ballot? And then I get the look again,
Right,
right?
right,
Like,
right, 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 right.
well, no,
Yeah.
I'm like, don't you think you need
I
to be doing that? But everybody was like, oh, I'm helping to
they
have people
well,
register and making money with that. Like, no,
but that's our own fault because they came from someplace else. They weren't from Nevada, right? They came from someplace else and like, oh, registration, registration. We need to register people. But I'm like, look, the only thing we need to ask people is their address correct or has their address changed? Is their address correct on their driver's license? That's what we need to be doing. And also educating people to look, this is what your city council does. This is what your assembly person does. This is what your state senator does. This is what your congressperson does. This is what your county commission does. Because in Southern Nevada, actually in Nevada, it's quite confusing. Wait, I live in an unincorporated Clark County, but I'm a subsidiary of North Las Vegas, but I don't get to vote on the mayor but I get to vote on the sheriff, but I don't get to vote on the mayor because I live in unincorporated Clark County. And then across the street, that's Vegas. Across another street, that's Henderson. Across another street, that's North Las Vegas. So, and they're like, everybody's like, are you gonna vote for Shelley for mayor? I'm like, no, I can't. And they're like, why? You live in North Las Vegas. I'm like, yes, I have my own mayor. But people don't, because they're from someplace
yes,
else that they don't really get. They don't really get the differences that are in Nevada.
yes, yes, and here we're gonna have another. 2026 is around
2026
the
is around the
corner,
corner. Yep.
and I'm really like, it's not like I'm just like waiting to like, okay, are the churches going to get involved now? Is NWACP don't get involved, right? Are other community-based organizations that are pushing voting and oh, I'm helping the community and I'm letting them know this and that. So I'm waiting on that, and I haven't seen doodly squat.
Well,
Nothing.
I hope they participate because if you don't participate, you get left behind. If you don't participate, you get left behind. And it's so easy. How hard is it to just check a couple boxes? And then I've heard, well, I don't want to vote because I don't know who they are. Do you have a phone? Do you have a phone? You can Google their name and figure out who they are. You can look at a picture or something that's better than, just blindly checking the boxes. So yeah.
Yes. Yes. And then the other flip of that too is going back to civics, right? Are those that are running, are they having town halls, or are they just running, get in, and then a lot we don't see them anymore, or if they win the primary we still don't see them anymore? And I'm just like, wow. So that goes with what you just said. I don't know who they are, and that could just be that they're not checking on it, but it could be that they're not talking to the constituents either.
That is the $1 million question, because I wonder always how to reach people. Um, some people say I go to too many events, but I'm like, I go to events because that's where the people are. I go there so I get to meet people and talk to people and see them and shake their hand and ask them how their kids are doing, or how I heard you were out of a job. Did you find a job? Yada yada yada. And but then the people that are complaining that we don't like, because I'm elected also, so I had to reach. I still reach out. People joke with me about, when do you start campaigning? I'm like, when did I really stop? Because I continued to go to the meetings that I was able to go to, as long as they didn't interfere what I was elected to go to.
Correct.
And so but how do I meet you? How do I get to you? You don't go to church. You don't go to any community events. You stay at home, and you get angry when I knock on your door. You get angry when I send you a text. You get tired of me like doing Facebook, advertising, or advertising between your games. How am I supposed to reach you? How will you get to know me? How will I get to know you? So if you can answer me that, we'll win every election.
Yes, that's the other part. Getting I think just more town halls and putting information out here constantly, just like McDonald's does, right? And Wally World does, putting information out there and everybody being connected, and that's gonna really help with this. But like I just said,
But there's some
2020
Wally
around
World
the
is selling something that you need. Wally World is selling something that you need, like today. But what are we selling? We're selling future. We're selling,
well,
hey, you
I
want a better
mean,
paying
this
job?
affects
Hey, do you
everybody.
want, huh?
Thank you. This affects everybody's life, though. This affects your
Yes, it does.
livelihood. It affects everything.
How do you
And
feel about
and
paying that much for gas to get to work every day? Now it costs you more to go to work, and you have less to bring home, because now gas is skyrocketed, and it takes a bigger chunk of your paycheck to pay for that gas. Guess what?
and if people think that oh, I'm not voting because it doesn't mean anything, they need to stop saying that, because that's not true. That's not true at all. Because look what just happened. I'm not even going to talk about the presidency. I'm talking about just here in the state of Nevada, on those that ran and won, but by how much?
Right, right. It was squeaked by.
So right. So we don't even got, because my whole podcast is about Nevada. It's about what Nevada's doing, what Nevada's bringing to us, how Nevada's helping the community, and Nevada barely made it through to bring in. Well, we got all our Congress and our senators in, but we lost some seats on the other way,
Well, we
right?
also lost seats in our state, our state
Well,
assembly and state senate.
that's what I'm saying.
So yeah,
Yeah.
uh, I guess there's so people. I don't know. I don't know how to say that. Like when they started talking about female reproductive rights, we've already handled that in Nevada. I mean, yes, it could be stronger language, but we've already pretty much settled that in Nevada. So
Yes. Yes.
don't talk to me about that. Talk to me about gig work. Talk to me about housing costs. because that's like number one concern of most Nevadans is how much housing they can't afford housing. So don't come to me talking about female reproductive rights when I need to worry about, am I going to sleep in my car tonight? I can't worry about female reproductive rights just this minute. I have to worry about putting a roof over my head.
Yes,
and
there's other
miss that
concerns.
completely.
Yeah. Building, well, I mean, being I'm a veteran, women veteran housing. I mean,
Oh, there is none. There is none. There is none.
I don't. I mean, that's what I need to talk about, and even mental health, right? Where's the facilities for the homeless for mental health? I mean, oh my gosh. Again, go back to daycare. Why are we not trying to figure that out? Where's Urban League at? Right? Where's Urban League with that type of situation there?
And we have a female majority legislature.
And that's
So
another
that
thing.
should have been that should have been primary. That should have been primary. That should have been primary because that affects, as far as I know, most women have to take maternity leave. Last time I checked. Last time I checked. They don't even want you back in the office for 6 weeks after you have your babe.
6 to 8 weeks.
And some women, like you said, well, I'm just going to talk about myself. My child, I was still in the hospital at 14 days. They sent my child home. I was still in the hospital. So, yeah, no. And good and well, I wasn't going back to work in 6 weeks or 8 weeks or even 3 months.
I really am what you said about the majority of women. That's why I went la 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 la, because I don't want to hear that no more. And that's the first thing. And we got the most women. Okay, but what women bills are you passing? What women bills are you passing, everybody? Miss Majority of women in Nevada. What are we doing? Right? What are we doing? Because I remember the bill that I did, it didn't pass. And it was it passed.
And it was to help women.
But it was to help women. And I'm getting ready to do a bill again, everybody. So I'm letting y'all know right now. I'm getting ready to do another one, right?
Good.
And it's again to help women. Again. And then it was hell trying to find someone to sponsor the doggone bill for me, though.
Right? And it shouldn't be. Like you said, it's a female majority. So therefore, we should pass everything that has to do with women's issues.
I'm just something on that, right? I started so soon. So when the bill got vetoed last session, I right away start asking, hey, and then I got Evelyn, we got to see first. We got to wait. There might be this going on. And I'm like, wow. So that's where we're at, huh? And
Exactly.
So I don't want to hear that no more. I don't. And whoever's saying it now, I'm finna just be like, excuse you? Like,
yeah, exactly. What does that mean? What does that mean to you?
Exactly. So run that by me on how that's helping me as a woman. Run that by me. How is that helping the community? Right? Because it might be helping all you up that way in Carson here in February we all start session. So if everybody wants to know, legislation 83rd legislation session starts February 3rd, everybody. And that's where everything goes down. It's gonna go down, everybody.
Yeah, pay attention to those bills that are coming out. If you can follow a few. Call in and say, hey, this is what's wrong with this bill, and this is what I would like to see changed in this bill, or this is what I would like to see this bill do. Just call. Anybody can call from anywhere. You don't have to necessarily show up and testify, but those phone calls mean a lot, because I know as being on the Board of Regents, I had a thought that, I'm representing my constituency. But when I say something and I hear crickets, like nobody speaks up with me, then the other 12 regents think it's just me grandstanding or me saying something or me, they think it's just me by myself. But if 10 people come in or call in and say, hey, no, I agree with such and such. I agree with, I don't know, re-examining the tuition rate, just for example. And I believe in that. So, and just, just let us know. Just talk to, because we have the most accessible electeds in the country. I think most of us have the several senators' private phone numbers, right? And we can call them at any time. So, and sometimes they answer, sometimes they don't. But that we can call them. We have access. They come do town halls. They some of the electeds, when you invite them, they come. I know our treasurer is very good at doing that, and several other. I just want to pick on him because I just saw him like a couple weeks back. So you have just talk to your elected. I know you think it doesn't make a difference, but it does. When you call in on that public record and it gets heard, it's heard by everybody, and so they can't ignore that forever.
Yeah. Yes, and you need to get on Nellis to follow tracking bills, and it's NELIS. That's the Nellis, and get on there and register, and that way you can pay attention when they're talking about things that you want to know about, like reform, recidivism,
Yes,
school education,
school lunches,
everything.
K through 12 funding, which is really important.
Yes, where do kids go to school at? If they go to the magnet school, if they don't, and there's a lot that's going on, and to go back to our topic, upper education versus trades, you need both.
You need both. Absolutely.
You
I love the trades, but like you're a pipe fitter, there's always going to be plumbing, always. But when you're like heavy construction, like built, for instance, when they built Allegiant Stadium, where we had to import people to build it, and now they're all gone, and most of them are out of work. So we need both. You have to have a plan B.
Oh,
no pun intended.
Sometimes you got to have a C.
C, D, E, and F, because life is life.
It goes further than that, right?
Right, right.
But I do really stress the importance to the kiddos about being in school and paying attention, because even now with what I'm doing with Nevada Women in Trades, and now the class that I'm doing, the refresher class for math, and it's something because you don't think about that. Even with me, after the military, I went into administration because everybody said go into admin. Okay, I did that, but no.
Doesn't pay enough, does it?
No, it didn't, because there's something, and because when I hear when I hear from some of the other men, I'm in administration, I was like, but what are you doing with that? Administration is so woo. Right? I mean, administration with what? To do where? Right. To go where? That's only just the beginning. Well, heck, after 4 years, you might as well went and did the lawyer thing. Shoot, legal.
Exactly.
Yeah, you might as well just did that part of it. But both of them are valued. They both need to be talked about. I even would like, to me, I think they should have to where you can get a 2-year degree for credits for free. I think it should be happening that way.
Okay, I am solid middle class.
Other countries do it.
Yes, they do. I am solid middle class, right? I'm not upper middle class. I'm not lower middle class. I am solid middle class. So there's no programs out there for me. But if you make less than what I make, then you could basically go to College of Southern Nevada for free, because Pell Grant kicks in, some scholarship money kicks in, work study kicks in, all these things. And then if you're on the other end of the scale, if you're make a whole heap of money, or a grip, as they say, if you make a grip, then you don't need the subsidies. You don't need all that. So we need to make sure that it's affordable for the masses. And try to make some of those scholarship programs, or scholarships and Pell Grant. The Pell Grant needs to be raised, first of all, and the salary that disqualifies you for Pell Grants needs to be raised, because our dollars don't go as far as they used to.
No.
Especially when our power bill went up. It's some outrageous number. I know. I nearly had to sell some furniture to keep my power on this summer.
It's horrible.
It was ridiculous.
And they get like 2 raises a year. I'm like, how the heck are they getting 2 raises a year? How?
That's civics, because we're not holding people accountable.
No, we're not. We're not at all. And accountability is a whole nother subject that we have to come back on here and talk about, because accountability is what needs to be happening. And that has to do with civics, holding people accountable, right?
But you mentioned earlier about holding people accountable. People get angry when you hold them accountable.
And
I don't understand, but I understand you just complaining at me. That makes me mad. Just don't, well, you're doing a sorry job. Okay, fine. What am I doing a sorry job on? Why do you think it's sorry? And what can I do to improve that to get a better outcome? But when you come to me and just say, I don't like what you're doing, that's not helpful. That's not helpful at all. Tell me why. Tell me why you don't like what you don't like. And how can it be better? How do you think it can be better? And then we can sit down and have a conversation. But don't just come at me and say, oh, well, you're not doing your job. Oh, okay. Help me out.
Yeah.
Help me out. Tell me what I'm not doing.
I don't say you're not doing your job. I come with the questions, the whys. And
yes,
the
you do. Yes, you do. And that's fun.
And that's why
I love
they're
that.
mad at me. Yes, because I'm like, well, what are we going to do about this? And how is this going to work? And then, because I'm just referring to a grant that just organization that just got, and it's a Department of Labor grant, and that's a taxpayer grant. Department of Labor is taxpayers, y'all. And so
it's public record.
It is. And if I'm asking you, what are you doing with it? I expect to answer, but I get the and oh, how dare you? And what you want to know for? And we don't have that figured out yet. Well, you better get it figured out, because you just got that money. Right.
And that grant has rules, and that grant has benchmarks and things that you have to perform by a certain timeline. Go ahead. Find out. Go ahead and find out.
Oh, definitely. Because Cortez Masto, excuse me, Jackie Rosen, excuse me, Horsford, excuse me, right? That's where I'm going with it. And you just gonna have to be mad, but we gotta do this right. We gotta do this right.
We have to do it right, or else the next time it comes around, they're going to say, well, Nevada didn't know what to do with it.
Yes.
So you're making, or Nevada didn't deliver. So why would we do this again with them?
Yes. And I applied for the same grant, and that's okay that Nevada Women Trades, but at least we applied for it. But don't get mad at me, because I know what the rules are and what you're supposed to be doing with it.
But they knew too.
They wasn't just expecting, but they weren't expecting anybody to ask questions, though. We was all supposed to go along with the program.
But if we do the right thing, if we do the right thing, then you never have to worry about what you did.
Ooh.
If you just do the right thing. Do what you know to do the best you can with what you have or what you know.
There you go.
PR Connections Radio thanks you for watching this podcast. Check out more episodes of this show and our others at prconnectionsradio.com.